Yo, 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 what's going on, fam? It's your boy Tahir Johnson, and I'm back with another week of the Cannabis Diversity Report. Today, I got my homegirl, Cimone Casson, straight out of Michigan in the building. Cimone, what's up?
Nothing. What's up? What's up? I'm so, you know what? I'm so happy for us to be. We ain't. I gotta touch your skin. You know, I'm coming to Jersey soon, but I'm really, really excited. We've been talking about doing this with me and you for what? Ever. So for us to really get some time together is really dope to me. So thank you so much for having me. And that's it. You know how I
Yeah,
feel about you.
yeah,
I think
absolutely.
you're the
It's
bomb.
a pleasure,
So
man. It's and for same love for you to see a black woman doing what you're doing, coming from the finance space, and really helping our people using your skills to make sure that we can have access to capital is something so important. So always love having you. Of course, for anybody out there that doesn't know, Cimone Casson, she's the founder of Cannas Capital. She's doing some great work with the Michigan stock market. Also on the advocacy side, she's the Michigan chair for Minorities for Medical Marijuana. Shout out to all my M for MM fans. So Cimone, tell us a little bit about your background, how you came over from finance and to the cannabis industry, and just tell us a little bit about your story.
okay, cool. So I started out in a bank program like a lot of people, right? They had a program where you can become a financial advisor or a licensed banker or whatever, and I was able to do that. It's a year program. I did it in 12 months. And so then I ended up getting into a partnership and becoming and managing about $100 million in assets. And so I loved what I did, but I was not fulfilled, right? So you can be able to buy all of this stuff, but I was still the African American woman on a three-person team, and the other two were white counterparts. And I was driving in a lot of the assets, and I just didn't, feel like it wasn't the place for me. I don't have a white lady's voice, right? So it is what you get from Cimone Casson. So I had decided that for whatever reason, honestly, and I'm gonna tell y'all, I had no clue why I came back to Michigan. So I was in Chicago at that time, had been there for 20 years of my life, and then ended up coming back to Michigan. When I came back to Michigan, I thought because I had this swag, right, and I was just gonna be able to pick up people's assets and they were gonna give them to me. It didn't work out like that, right? And so later on, someone asked me, well, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to insure cannabis businesses. And they said, can you do that? And I said, yeah. At that time, that was 2017. And I think at that time, when I Googled, there were maybe 20 cannabis insurance agencies in the whole United States. Had been less than 20, right? So it was like one page. And so what I knew is that cannabis companies, one, were going to have a hard time solidifying their place in the industry as a business because they couldn't get any lending, they couldn't get banking. But the one mainstay was that they had to have insurance. And I'm so sorry. That they had to have insurance. And so that's from state to state. And just so you know, insurance is a state thing, just a state governed industry, just as cannabis is a state governed industry. So we didn't get all our licenses or whatever. But the problem was at that time, there were no businesses for me to insure. We had just passed what we call Proposition 1, which was the legalization of adult use. Michigan had the longest running of medical cards, meaning that individuals had actually gotten medical cards in 2008. So there was this great opportunity, but medical businesses were going out of business because they weren't staying in. They couldn't meet, the different qualifications. They weren't able to be renewed. They weren't making money. It was just this whole kind of thing going on. And then, but the retail companies had not been in inception yet because the law had just passed and they hadn't gotten their licenses and everything. So there were a couple of years that I was trying to figure out, well, what was I going to do? And the one thing that I remembered was when I was working in finance at that time, I had a client who came in and was telling me about Bitcoin. Now, mind you, this is 2015. I said, baby, I don't know how this works or whatever. But he also told me about cannabis stocks, and I understood how weed worked. right? And so I always tell people, or I always told people that invest in business models that you know and you understand and you love. And I ain't gonna get into my background, but let's just say I knew how weed worked. I kind of knew a little bit about the dope game, right? So I ain't always been like this, but so I was able to get into that. And long story short, got in, and it was actually an insurance premium that I got in. It was about $1,000, 980, and I took that money and I turned that into a $20,000 portfolio in a really short amount of time. And there were some good things that I did and some bad things that I did, but I knew that I could teach individuals some principles about investing. Now, mind y'all, I want y'all to understand. I want to make sure we let everybody know. I was doing this in 2017. So I know when I look on Facebook, some of y'all after my job, because all of y'all are financial advisors and financial experts as of now. You know what I'm saying? With the Dogecoin and the GameStop. I looked up one day, I say they trying to get me for my riches. But I'm still the dopest chick in the game. And right now, one of the things that I want to say is that it is a wonderful opportunity. I love to see that everyone is talking about investing, that at this point in time, we actually understand the fact that there is proof that there's money that can be made. And I think that was the big thing of what held a lot of people of color out of investing as a whole. So, now I got the right song at the right place at the right time. And I just love that we're changing this narrative. And so we're doing some really, really big things to help aid in not just cannabis, but also in building generational wealth. And some things that you will very rarely hear me say that I'm proud of myself. This is definitely one of those times.
Absolutely. And we can't wait to talk about all of that. And one of the things that you touched on that I think is really important, because it's something that you and I have talked about in the past, and that is, like access to financial literacy and just the knowledge of investing in general, whether we're talking about cannabis or just the stock market, is something that a lot of people of color don't really have access to. So what would you say, from what you've learned during your time as investing, what are some ways that people should approach investing, and it's like some best practices, whether they're investing in cannabis stock or just any stocks in general?
Well, let's say this, there is no cookie cutter way to actually invest, right? So as you said, that there are some best practices, but that's going to depend on what your goal and objective is for what this money is, meaning that you got to know the difference between investing and trading. Investing is more of a long-term kind of situation, right? Meaning that you're going to buy low and wait for it to appreciate and then sell it at a high. Most of the times that's going to be well over a year or more. Trading is going to be a little bit more short term, right? Trading can be seconds. It could be, weeks. It could be, whatever. But at that point, you're looking to gain income. So I would say best practices is definitely consider your objective. Understand every dollar that you have needs to have a job. And then look at how much you're going to be investing and what products you're going into. Right now I see a lot, which is good, right? So I'm happy about the conversation, but we have to have educated conversations, right? And so we have to understand that we are actually in a time that's unprecedented on so many different levels. But before now, to be able to have the opportunity to invest in startups, to invest in a new asset such as crypto, all of those things up until now, in the last 5 or 10 years, have only been designated for the uber rich. Those opportunities, the education behind it, was only set up for what we consider accredited or sophisticated investors. An accredited investor is somebody that has $1 million in assets to invest, or they have $250,000 a year. This was never offered to the everyday person. In addition to that, sophisticated is defined by what they had an experience. So a lot of times we were cut out of that. Now we're in a place where we have God and Google, where we can actually utilize this. We can actually move the needle with social media and get individuals, like-minded individuals, to go in and to buy into a asset or stock or a company or whatever. So making sure that you're doing your research, making sure that you're looking at the objectives, and then just making sure that you get in at a level that you are comfortable with, and have a strategy and a game plan.
Right, and that's great advice. And we definitely, like we said, had to get, I just had to ask you something about the money. But we're here to talk cannabis. So, like you said, you've been doing this for a number of years now. And not only in finance, but you've done a lot in the advocacy space as well. Chapter president for M4MM. Talk a little bit about, and I know you just put on a series of events to educate people there. So talk a little bit. Tell the folks out there a little bit, what is M4MM as an organization, and what are you doing in the Michigan? What's some of the things you're excited about in the Michigan chapter?
Cool. So I love being the chapter president of M4MM. I think for me as a African American woman, for me to get into a space and be that, even though it's an ancillary company, but for me to be able to really, put down a footprint in the cannabis space, I had to reach back and be able to reach up and help others also, right? And so what that looked like for me, my narrative has never changed. It's always going to be money, stocks, and weed, but with that being said, how do I position myself to be able to help others to be able to not just understand the financial literacy, but for them to be able to gain access to capital? So in that, our last series we just did, and this is an M4MM event, but we were able to have a really successful one in Michigan, where we did a boot camp, virtual boot camp online. That's an M4M thing. They do it from different states, but we were really able to move the needle because we got the MRA, which is the Michigan Marijuana Regulatory Agency, to come in and not just be speakers, but be our platinum sponsor. So they really kind of went in and talked to individuals, talked to the group, the attendees, about what they need to do to obtain a license. We had everyone from securities, attorneys, accountants, insurance, everything that you needed, build out from A to Z, everything that you needed to know to be able to put in an application for our micro business. And our micro business is the license that that has been deemed and really kind of, it hasn't been deemed, but it rolled out with adult use, and also the social equity program, and it happens to be one of the cheaper licenses, right? And so, I mean, least expensive license in Michigan.
Right, and I know that social equity program in Michigan is definitely looking to seeing how that develops, and hopefully it'll create some new opportunities for people out there. And speaking of working with the Michigan Regulatory Authority, you're doing some historic stuff out there. What you're doing to help provide funding for cannabis businesses. So talk about that a little bit. Talk about what you're doing with the stock market.
So again, for me, it's about, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense, right? And we really, really wanted to do, I think now that we're getting into this space, it's important that we get away from the fluff, meaning that I think that there's enough events and initiatives that haven't really bore any fruit, and they haven't really created tangible pathways for us to get there. And so for me, I was all about, I'm so sorry. Hold on one second, sweetheart. Wait a minute. Where did I go? Can you still see me?
I can still hear you. Cole, I don't see you, but I hear you now.
Okay, I don't know. One second. Hold on, I'm gonna fix this. I'm here someplace. There we go. Right? There we go. Okay, I'm sorry, everybody. So I think that we have a lot. We've had a lot of entities and situations where they haven't really bore fruit. And so moving forward, my thing for 2021 was really about how do I really, really make a difference, right? How do we really, really create wins? How do we really, really develop this ideology, or take it from being an ideology of really creating millionaires, right? How do we do that? And so, of course, we want to have an opportunity for everyone. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to leave some people alone and leave them on the side. And so I figured if I was able to do some things that could create an army of millionaires, those millionaires could be able to create another army, and so on and so on and so on. So it was very, very important to me to look at how investing in cannabis, or in this emerging market, how we have this right song, we have, you know, social equity, we have all of these things to be able to build generational wealth. And so I wanted to create strategic pathways that were that had a good chance of winning. So as the president, as the chairwoman for the social equity group, I was targeted to be able to create access to capital. And one of the things that I found was that we had policies in Michigan that would allow for us to have what we consider a local stock exchange. Local stock exchanges are not a new idea. I didn't invent this. What we know as Chrysler actually came from a local stock exchange. The Green Bay Packers is on a local stock exchange. So there are laws and policies and procedures that are in there. I just happened to be the crazy person that believed enough that this could actually be done and it could be walked through. And so that's what we're doing now. We have established, we're in the process of establishing Cannas Capital Securities, which will be the investment firm, one of the investment firms and the underwriters under a syndicate that we're building. We're working tirelessly with compliance and attorneys and a host of other things to be able to create an actual stock exchange where minority businesses, or no, not minority businesses, that was wrong. Businesses that are located in Michigan under in the opportunity zones will be able to be listed and be able to raise up to $1 million. But the key to it, this is the key. The key to it is that Michigan residents will be able to invest their money into these businesses. So it also gives an opportunity for local residents to be able to participate in an emerging market and build generational wealth. In addition to that, we are starting to be able to do our media blitzes and things like this, where we'll be talking with major MSOs to be able to come in and do matchmaking. And so they will be able to meet up with individuals and entities that have a social equity acceptance letter. So they'll be talking and trying to work together on collaborations, engagement, investing, and partnerships that are not predatory. So again, I'm looking to build millionaires. I don't want no broke people around me. We can hang out on Sundays. That's when I give. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking to really build a team of individuals. They say, what's the saying, Sir Harry? The best way to become a millionaire, make 10 other ones. Yeah, make 10 other ones. Yeah. So that's the easiest way. So that's what we're doing right now. Nothing fluff. You know what I mean? Ain't no pie in the sky, nothing like that. These are we're only doing tangible initiatives at this point.
Absolutely. And when do you expect the stock market to launch, and how will people be able to access it?
Wonderful. So I'm hoping Q4 of this year, right? So I'm working tirelessly. There is a lot of layers. You know, they say if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. But this is what we do need. We definitely do need more opportunity. We need more seed money. So if you're working for a MSO or someone like that is that's looking to participate in social equity or racial equity, or want to get a footprint in Michigan, please reach out to me. We're always looking for those opportunities. We are looking for more, bodies to be a part of it. Definitely, we want to get the word out. This is a Michigan thing. Michigan is the only one that has the laws. It's a lot of things, but this is new, and we can be able to take this other places. So definitely reach out to me. We're always looking for opportunities to have conversations conversations with some of the big boys. So if you work for the big boys, if you have a network, or if one of the big boys is watching and they say, wow, this is a really, really cool idea. This is a way that we want to be able to aid in social equity. This is great. This is a full infrastructure like NASDAQ. This is not a crowdfunding. This is not a portal. This is full broker dealers, syndicates, investment, custodial, compliance. This is the real pick a deal. And this is the other thing that I want y'all to understand. We don't have to have lesser, right? So because this is deemed for marijuana businesses that are in disenfranchised zones, I didn't feel like it should be dummied down and there shouldn't be a risk. So in that people of color should not have a manageable risk. So there's full underwriting, there's full shares that will be sent out. I mean, the full gamut will be there. This is not a Kickstarter fund. We are doing the work, and it's costing me and everybody else a lot of money to get it done.
Hey, well, a lot of money, I'm sure, a lot of time, a lot of commitment, but it's great to see you putting in all that work to get it done. I know it's going to benefit a lot of people. You know, access to capital is one of the biggest problems facing the cannabis industry, especially for people from our communities that don't necessarily have the money that it takes to, you know, get into this industry. So it's really great to see you, you know, doing this work and for the people in Michigan, you know.
And we want to do it, you know, all over, but you know, we have to do baby steps. And so this is so important, right? And y'all have to understand. And one thing I want y'all to, if you take nothing else from it, understand that this is a Black woman that's spearheading this. And so whatever idea you think or hell they trying to give me, they doing it twice. So make sure, you know, y'all make sure y'all give me y'all love, y'all support. This is a labor of love, but we can get it done. And this is a pathway to act. This is a tangible pathway to attack generational wealth, right? What other entities or what other initiatives do you know that allows for the growth of raising capital for a business, but also an opportunity for people to buy back in their hood? If you know of another one, I got a bridge in Brooklyn you can buy.
Yeah. And you know what? That's another good point that you say, because we definitely got to support our Black women. You know, what advice would you have for other sisters or other people of color that may be working in finance, or you know, another career that may want to look to transition to cannabis or use their skills to impact the industry? You know, what would you tell them, you know, based on what you've learned over these past couple of years?
Don't do it for the money. And that sounds crazy coming from me, right? You know what I mean? But don't do it for the money. I probably, in a lot of times, I really work on life balance, right? I really work in that space. But I work sometimes 7 days a week, right? And they are long hours. But I will tell you this, when you do what you love, it never feels like work, right? So I don't have a life that I need a vacation from. I take a vacation because I want to, but I don't have a life that I need a vacation from, because the things that I'm doing, although they pay well, but I'm doing it for a purpose, right? So money is not enough to get anybody to get up and work 7 days a week. It just ain't enough. You know, whether it's your kids or whatever, you have to have another motivation. For me, it was finding my purpose, and I knew that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So in cannabis, you have to understand the laws change every day. The rules change every day. The people change every day. The players change every day. So you know, like I know, it's people that we knew were power players last year. It's been cricket silence. I asked someone, did someone know what? You know what I mean? So you're going to go through a lot of changes, and money and being popular in the weed game, that ain't enough. You got to be able to leverage and find something that you really, really love and be passionate about it, because it's hell on wheels. This is what y'all need to understand is this is the legalized dope game. Really. You know what I mean? So you got to really be able to understand public policy, investing, compliance, all of these different things. And money is not enough to get you up every day. You got to be willing to do the work, and you got to be willing to work harder than You did yesterday.
Yeah, I'll give you an amen to that. That was definitely good
Right.
advice. Yo, and Cimone, I definitely appreciate you coming through. Tell everybody, you know, where they can follow you. Where can they get more info on Cannas Capital? Where can everybody hit you up?
Of course. So everybody can find me at the letter C. Cimone Casson. So it's C Cimone Casson. Y'all can follow me everywhere. That's Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, everything there. If you are looking for insurance in cannabis, we're licensed in Illinois, Michigan, and Massachusetts. So you can go on to Cannas Capital, which is Cannas Capital, Capital. You can be able to find us there. If you want to shoot me an email or inbox me at any of those, or DM me if you guys want to get more information, we definitely are trying to build an army. So understand this market is going to come to fruition. I'm so excited. This is a great opportunity. But again, we need as much support as possible, right? So even, you know, as far as there may be some statues in the future. We're not thinking as of right now, but we may have some statues that we have to change. I need as many support as possible. So make sure you follow me. Make sure you give me your information. Stay with us. If you are in Michigan, I will be in a city near you really, really soon, because we will be starting the tour where we'll be gathering, getting information from businesses to be listed. So I'm excited. June, I think between June and November, I'm up to 22 events. Ain't nothing they can do with me.
Hey, that's what's up. And like you said, we're going to keep working because we ain't never falling off. We don't do that, right?
We'll do that. We'll do that. We go hard in the paint, baby. I can't wait to come to Jersey, man. Oh my goodness, I can't wait. I cannot wait. I'm gonna try to come in the next couple months. So
and I definitely owe y'all a trip to Michigan. Yeah.
I know, right? I know.
Well, definitely,
well,
like I said, I got a couple folks out there. I got to check in.
Well, I think I'm having everybody come out for the Croptober Fest, which is October 16th. So I know Leo and everybody else is coming. So I'll make sure you get the information. I'm bringing Clydesdales to the hood. It's gonna be awesome. So we're gonna do that in October 16th. Man, you know, when I throw a party, I throw a party.
And if not that, I'll probably come through for the NCIA joint. I think that's in December or something like that.
Oh no, we'll be there together.
Know.
Yes, we will be there together. I will see you there. But I'm gonna see you before then, my love.
You already know. Well, Cimone, it was dope catching up with you. Everybody out there, appreciate y'all tuning in with us, and we'll be back with more. Thanks for watching the Cannabis Diversity Report. Peace.
Thank you.